what research design should answer. What questions the research design should answer. First of all, the research design is what is the study about. जो रिसर्चर एक रिसर्च करता है ये स्टडी किसके रिलेटेड है व्हाट इज अबाउट व्हाट ही एड्रेसेस द क्वेश्चन अबाउट द प्रॉब्लम अंडर द स्टडी second why is the study being made that means why this study is being carried out what will be the purpose of the study and third where will the study be carried out that means where will be the what area in which area this study will be carried out that means whether in the town whether in the city whether in the village whether in the household and third what types of the data is required whether it's the primary data he's going to collect and answer the research question or it is a secondary source secondary data that he's going to use during his research and what period of time that will be used during the study how much time a researcher will use to complete his research to complete his research project where can we what type of data is required whether it's the primary data or the secondary what will be the sampling design that is the most important aspect of the research design that what is sampling design what sampling method he is going to use whether it's a probability sampling or there is a non-probability sampling that means what techniques of the data collection he is going to use a researcher has there are different techniques of data collection for example interschedule is there questionnaire is there it depends on the scholar research scholar that what technique he is going to use and how the data will be analyzed that means how the researcher is going to analyze the data like using the tools such as SPSS using the Microsoft Excel tools using the central tendency such as mean median mode for analysis of the data. Coming to the types of the research design, there are different types of the research design. For example, there are descriptive research design, there is exploratory research design, there is explanatory research design, and there is correlational research design. So when we talk about the descriptive research design, it focuses on to describe the systematic situation, a problem, or to provide information about the living conditions of a group, attitudes of the people towards the different issues. Here the main focus of the research in the descriptive research design is to study the prevalent aspects of the problem, prevalent issues that is in the society. Here the main focus in the descriptive research is to describe these situations, these issues, and these problems. For example, if we take an example like how a child feels in living in a house with the domestic violence. एक बच्चा जब किसी फैमिली में डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस होती है उसका क्या असर होता है एक इंडिविजुअल पे एक चाइल्ड पे क्या असर होता है ये हम स्टडी करते हैं डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टडीज में डिस्क्रिप्टिव रिसर्च डिजाइन में और वी कैन से द एटीट्यूड ऑफ द एम्प्लॉइज जो एम्प्लॉइज होते हैं
change the slide please change the slide so we can see the research design type of research design
actually this has been taking some time to change the slide. Actually, Microsoft Excel is not working well. Let me show you again. Here we can see you can see is the screen visible now?
yes
Okay, so I have already discussed about the descriptive research design. That means it describes systematically a situation, problems, living conditions of a group, attitudes of the people towards an issue. Here the main purpose is just to describe the events, the situations, the issues, the problems. For example, how the child feels in a living house with the domestic violence. एक child जो होता है उसको वो क्या feel करता है जब किसी family में domestic violence होती है. And the second, how the attitudes of the employees towards the management. These are the things that we are studying under the descriptive research design. Coming to the second, correlational research design. Here we can say what we see in the correlational research design is that we see the relationships, we see the association, interdependence. एक वेरिएबल का दूसरे वेरिएबल क्या असर होता है, what is their association, what is the relationship between the different aspects of the situation. For example, when we talk about relationship between fertility and mortality, इनके बीच एक वेरिएबल, fertility एक वेरिएबल है, mortality एक दूसरा वेरिएबल है, इनके बीच क्या संबंध है, क्या रिलेशनशिप है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अनदर वन इज बिटवीन द टेक्नोलॉजी एंड द एम्प्लॉयमेंट. हाउ द हेल्थ सर्विसेज, जब बेटर हेल्थ सर्विसेज होती है तो डिजीज कंट्रोल पे क्या असर पड़ता है. एंड अनदर थिंग, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ एडवर्टाइजमेंट ऑन द सेल्स ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. इफ देयर इज अ बेटर एडवर्टाइजमेंट फॉर अ प्रोडक्ट, that means their sales will be improved. If there is a bad advertisement, their sales will be declining. So here we can say that in this research design, what we can see, we see the correlation between different variables. And the third type of the research design is explanatory research design. What a researcher here try to do, he just try to do why and how there is a relation between two aspects of the situation. How? Here is focuses on the why. Here in the correlation we see just a relationship. In the explanatory we see how there is a relationship. Why? Try to explain the causes. Why factor? What is the different causes? What are the different reasons? How there is a relationship between the two variables. For example, why the stressful living results in the heart attacks between the different people. एक स्ट्रेसफुल लाइफ जब होती है किसी इंसान तो हार्ट अटैक क्यों आ जाता है, तो इसमें हम काजेस पे फोकस करते हैं. हाउ द होम एनवायरनमेंट अफेक्ट्स द लेवल ऑफ एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट्स ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन. दैट मीन्स हियर वी सी जो होम एनवायरनमेंट होता है, फैमिली का एनवायरनमेंट होता है, पेरेंट्स का जो इन्फ्लुएंस होता है एक इंडिविजुअल्स पे, चिल्ड्रंस पे, ये चिल्ड्रन जो उनके होते हैं उन पे कैसे असर करता है. दैट मीन्स हियर इन एक्सप्लेनेटरी रिसर्च डिजाइन वी जस्ट फोकस ऑन द कॉजेस, व्हाई फैक्टर. And the fourth one is exploratory research design. In this research design, type of the research design, we try to explore an area where a little knowledge is known, where we don't have enough knowledge. Here the researcher try to explore an area where a little is known or to investigate the possibilities of undertaking a particular research. इसमें क्या करता है एक रिसर्चर, क्या करता है वो पॉसिबिलिटी देखता है कि रिसर्च कैसे हो सकता है इस फील्ड में. इसमें ज्यादा नॉलेज अवेलेबल नहीं होती है किसी भी इशू के रिलेटेड, किसी भी प्रॉब्लम के रिलेटेड, तो वहां पे एक्सप्लोरेटरी रिसर्च डिजाइन हम यूज करते हैं. इट इज कैरीड आउट टू डिटरमाइन द फीजिबिलिटी ऑफ द रिसर्च. इस रिसर्च स्ट्रेटजी को, इस रिसर्च डिजाइन को हम पायलट स्टडी भी कह सकते हैं. इट ट्राई टू एक्सप्लोर एन एरिया where the research has little or no knowledge about the phenomenon. For example, when there is any problem in the university, when there is student unrest in the university campus, so there is no knowledge, there is no prior knowledge about what is happening in the university. So anything that happening new in the university, so there is no new previous information about this. So here researcher try to explore the new things about the phenomena. Coming to the components of the research design, there are various components of the research design. First of all, we have to choose a topic. Topic is one of the important title of the topic of the research. That means when the researcher is going to, if there is any student, he says that I am going to do the research. वो क्या करता है, वो बोलता है कि मैं रिसर्च में जाऊंगा, फील्ड में, किसी रिसर्च फील्ड में जाऊंगा, मैं रिसर्च करूंगा. सबसे पहले जब वो किसी सुपरवाइजर के अंडर आ जाता है तो उसको पहले सबसे पहले काम होता है कोई प्रॉब्लम चूज करना, कोई टॉपिक चूज करना जिसपे वो काम करता है. सो दैट मीन्स टॉपिक ऑफ द रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट नीड्स टू बी कंसाइज. ये जो टॉपिक होना चाहिए क्या होना चाहिए, प्रिसाइज होना चाहिए, ब्रीफ होना चाहिए. समटाइम्स द टॉपिक ऑफ द रिसर्च is divided in two parts. The first part is about the issue under the study, for example, and second part is about the area of the study. That means if a researcher chooses a problems and challenges of the viewers, of the corporate viewers, in the problems and challenges of the viewers, a sociological study of district leader. That means first part is issue, problems and challenges faced by the viewer. That is issue, that is a problem. And the second part, a sociological study of the district leader. That means here district leader. That means here second part is deal with the area. First part is the issue. Second part is the area where the research is going to conduct. And the second component of the research design, that is the research problem. Here what we do, it is an intellectual puzzle for the researcher. He try to investigate. जो problem होती है वो researcher क्या करता है, वो problem को investigate करता है. And third is motives and the goals. That is one of the important component of the research design. Motives and the goal. That means what a researcher personal motives and goals. एक researcher क्यों research करता है, उसके motives क्या होते हैं? What are his or her goals? What will be the researcher's goals for doing that research? Sometimes the researcher having the personal goals. For example, somebody doing the research PhD. That means he's doing the research for getting a degree, for getting the title of doctor. And some are doing the research for the public welfare. So the government, there are government surveys are there, government researches are there, that they are doing these researches for the welfare of the people. And some are doing the research for fulfilling their curiosity. Sometimes there is an issue in the society. For example, there is any issue in your community. Some keen people are what they are do. They try to explore this problem. They are doing this research for their personal reasons, for satisfying their own curiosity. They are doing the research. And the fourth, that is one of the important components of the research, that is research questions and objectives. The formulation of the research objectives is the real starting point. The researcher basically जो research होता है वो start होता है research objectives mainly. These are the starting points. Title of the research statement, modern goals, but the basic research is starting from the research questions and research objectives. All the researches or activities are directed toward answer the research questions, such as there are the what questions, there are why questions, how questions, there what seeks the descriptions, why explanations, and how questions seeks the interventions and change. And review of the literature, that is one of the important component of the research. In the during the when we are doing the literature review, what we do, it helps us to clarify what is known from the previous researches. इससे हमें पता चलता है literature review से कि हमें previous knowledge क्या है इस topic के related. पिछले जो लोग थे जिन्होंने scholars थे, researchers थे, उन्होंने इस topic का काम किया, उन्होंने क्या देखा है, तो हम अब नया क्या देखेंगे इस चीज में. तो literature is one of the important component of the research design. And another point, another component, data sources and types and forms. That means that what are the sources of the data? हमें data कहाँ से आता है? There are 4 types of the data sources. For example, natural social settings, data collected from the people in which they are engaged, and seminar setting when the people are not in their routine activities, they are at their homes, and we go there and we collect the data from these people. That are semi-natural settings. Natural settings when they are engaged in their daily activities. And the third is artificial settings. That means that we are dealing with the attitudes of the people, values of the people, behaviors of the people. That is artificial setting. And social artifacts is another source of data. For example, we have the different social artifacts. For example, census data is there, different reports are there, and we collected the data from these sources. And another types of the data, we already know that there are the 2 types of data, primary data and secondary data. Primary data is that when the researcher himself collected the data, going the field and collected the data from the different people. That is primary data. And the secondary data is collected from the data that is collected by others. That means this data is collected by some other people, and the researcher uses the data for their own purposes. And there are the forms of the data. There are quantitative data and the qualitative data. When you talk about the quantitative data, it is mainly deals in numbers, numericals, and the qualitative data is mainly deals with the words. And the selection of the data sources, that is one of the important components. Selection of the data sources, that means sampling. Here what we do, we select the people, we select the different events, we select the items from which we collect the data. Some collected data, whole population, हम क्या करते हैं कि वर्ग जो रिसर्च होता है वो होल पॉपुलेशन से डेटा कलेक्ट करता है, किसी कम्युनिटी पे हर एक किसी के पास जाता है, डेटा कलेक्ट करता है. लेकिन कोई क्या करता है कि कोई स्पेसिफिक इंडिविजुअल्स को चूज करता है, उनसे डेटा कलेक्ट करता है. वहां पे सैंपलिंग आती है, प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग, डिफरेंस नॉन प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग. एट दैट टाइम ही कलेक्टेड द डेटा फ्रॉम द पॉपुलेशन. So there is another data collection. How the researcher is going to collect the data? For that purpose, he need to frame the interest schedule or the questionnaire. At that time, he collects the data from the field. And for last one, data reduction analysis. At that time, when the researcher collects the data from on the interest schedules, what he do when he comes, he reduces the data, he transforms the data into the quantitative data, and do the numerical codings for that data. And after that, tries to feed the data into the Microsoft Excel for the analysis purposes. And coming to the second part of the topic, that is the literature review. Literature review is one of the important component, or we can say important step of the research process. It makes a valuable contributions in every operational step. हर किसी स्टेप में जब कोई रिसर्चर कोई रिसर्च करता है, हर एक एस्पेक्ट में, हर एक स्टेज पे लिटरेचर रिव्यू important role इख्तियार करता है. That means it has a valuable contribution at every operational step. It has an importance even before the first step, that is when the researcher it has an important step that when the researcher is going to conduct a research, when a researcher is merely thinking about a research problem that he may want to find answer through a research journey. That means, hello, I am audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Sir, your PPT is not visible. You are audible.
Okay. I will share the PPT later on to the students. I will share to the sir. Share to the PPT to the sir, and later on he will distribute. Okay, to the students. So coming to the second part of the part of the topic, that is the literature review. Literature review is one of the important component of the research.
PPT share नहीं हो रही क्या? प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रही है?
Actually, there is happening some problem. I will share it right now. Just give me a few minutes. So actually, when the researcher is going to collect the data, literature review, it is one of the important step in the research process and makes a valuable contribution to almost every optional step. It has a value even before a research first step, that is when you merely thinking about a research question that we may want to answer through a research journey. For example, if अगर कोई स्टूडेंट क्या करता है कि वो चाहता है कि मैं रिसर्च करूं, तो सबसे पहले वो लिटरेचर देखता है कि किस टॉपिक पे काम हुआ है, किस टॉपिक पे नहीं काम हुआ है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली वो चूज करता है अपना टॉपिक. तो so that means कि just a minute. Hello.
Sir, you are
Sound is not audible, sir.
Hello.
Sir, sound is not audible.
Okay. Is this screen visible now?
Yeah. Okay, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay. That means coming to the second part of the topic, that is the literature review of literature. Literature review is an account of what has been already published on a particular topic by accredited scholar. That means what has been already published by the different scholars, by the different researchers, that is known as literature. It is a comprehensive, in-depth, systematic critical review of selected literature to find out how it can be useful for the present study. There are a number of the studies on the topic that has been already done by the other scholars. So what that we go through to different phase, different, and we read those papers and we see what has been already been done. At initial stage, it helps the researcher to theoretics of our study, clarifies our idea, and develops our research methodology. That means literature review has one of the important in the research. That means it helps us to establish the theoretical roots of our study. What will be the different theories? For example, there are different theories, policies, there, functional is there, conflict theory, conflict is there. It helps us to know on our study suits, whether it is a positivistic approach, whether it is a functionalistic approach, what research. And later on it has consulting degree or existing knowledge. When we complete our research, we have the results, we have the content, we have findings, and this literature review helps us to integrate our findings with the previous knowledge, with the existing literature. Coming to the importance of the literature review, it helps us to develop a greater insights into our research problem. It plays an important role to develop a rationale of our study. What is the reason of our study? It makes us aware about what has been examined by the others, what they have found, what gaps they identified, and what suggestions they have made. All these things that have been done by the other scholars are very useful when a researcher is going to conduct a research, his own research. It helps us in selecting appropriate methodology. It helps the researcher to what sort of methodology he is going to use, what sampling he is going to use, what research strategies he is going to use. All these things are help is provided by the other researchers who have done their research, who have published their papers, reports. All these reports are very helpful for a researcher who is going to carry out his own research. It enables us to compare our findings with those others and answer these questions. That means a researcher when is going to एक कोई रिसर्चर होता है वो क्या करता है कि जब रिसर्च फील्ड में जाता है उसके पास अपने रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जिनको वो आंसर को उनको निकालने की कोशिश करता है, फाइंड करता है. तो वो क्या करता है कि जब वो फील्ड में जाता है, डेटा कलेक्ट करता है, एंड आफ्टर दैट द लिटरेचर helps him to compare his findings with the previous results, previous researches. So it also helps us to find a possible answer to the research questions. It helps to develop a possible hypothesis. That means sometimes when a researcher is doing the literature review in his research, it helps him develop hypothesis. ये help करती है एक researcher को hypothesis develop करने के लिए. Functions of the literature review, that means it brings the clarity and focus to the research problem. जब कोई researcher क्या करता है, कोई research problem choose करता है, जब वो लिटरेचर पढ़ता है, डिफरेंट पेपर्स पढ़ता है, डिफरेंट थीसिस यूज पढ़ता है, तो इसको क्लियरिटी मिलती है अबाउट हिज ओन रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम, अबाउट हिज ओन टॉपिक. इट डिटरमाइन द गैप्स इन द रिसर्च आइडियाज. रिसर्च स्कॉलर जो होते हैं जिन्होंने प्रीवियसली काम किया होगा इस टॉपिक पे और अब ये नए से काम करना चाहता है उस टॉपिक पे, तो गैप क्या है, व्हाट इज द गैप बिटवीन प्रीवियस रिसर्च एंड दिस रिसर्च, और जिसको ये फिलफिल करना चाहता है. ब्रॉड द नॉलेज बेस इन द रिसर्च, knowledge gain करते हैं, provide a theoretical background to the study. And another thing is the sources of the literature review. When we talk about the sources of the literature review, there are two types of the sources. That is one, the primary source and the secondary source of the literature. Primary source वो होता है जब किसी रिसर्चर ने primary data पे काम किया है. For example, there is a हम कम्युनिटी में हम क्या करते हैं, वहां जाते हैं, हम ज्यादा है, वहाँ जाता है, उसमें डेट क्या होता है। अब दूसरा रिसर्चर होता है, उसी टॉपिक पे काम करना चाहता है, तो रिसर्चर क्या करता है, उसकी स्टडी पढ़ता है, वो भी प्राइमरी स्टडी होती है। अब ये जो रिसर्चर नया होता है वो भी स्टडी करना चाहता है, उसको भी प्राइमरी स्टडी करनी है, लेकिन डिफरेंस क्या है, एक रिसर्च स्कॉलर ने किसी दूसरी जगह पे उस पे काम किया है, किसी ने अलीगढ़ में काम किया है उस डावरी सिस्टम पे, और दूसरा कोई बंदा है वो उसी डावरी सिस्टम पे काम करना चाहता है लेकिन वाराणसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डिस्ट्रिक्ट में काम करना चाहता है। तो these are the sources of the literature review. And one of the when we talk about the sources, हमें लिटरेचर कहाँ से प्रोवाइड होता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू हैव गूगल स्कॉलर, we have a Google Scholar where we can access the different articles, research papers, and the another thing is, for example, thesis. We have a Shudganga where we can access the different theses of the research scholars. We have the different reports, census data. All these things are easily available on the internet, where we can access our access the material, and we can access the literature. So these are the so in this I think it is I have completed. Thank you. Hello. 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 Hello, sir. Sir, I think I have completed. If anybody have any question, you can ask it. Actually, here is a lot of network issues in Kashmir. That is why I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
सर आप पीपीटी शेयर कर दीजिएगा ना।
Okay, I will share this. I have no issue. I will share this PPT on your WhatsApp. If anyone have any question, he can ask.
सकते हैं क्योंकि नेटवर्किंग की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, तो इसलिए आज का थोड़ा सा स्टॉप कर दें, क्योंकि वहाँ बार बार डिस्टर्बिंग हो रही है ना। तो अब एनीबडी जो वांट टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग दिस। Anyone want to ask any question? I am audible? सुन रहे हैं सब लोग? मेरी आवाज आई एम ऑडिबल आई एम ऑडिबल
Sir, your voice is not clear.
वॉइस इज नॉट क्लियर आई एम ऑडिबल हेलो हेलो आई एम ऑडिबल
Yes, sir. You
Yes,
are
sir.
not audible.
आई एम ऑडिबल
Yes, sir.
माय वॉइस इज क्लियर आई एम ऑडिबल
Yes, sir.
कोई सुन पा रहा है मुझे
Yes, sir.
आई एम ऑडिबल
Ji, sir.
आई एम ऑडिबल आई एम ऑडिबल अगर किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो काइंड प्लीज आस्क ओके 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 if you have any questions somebody have any
Sir,
question
one question,
regarding this
sir.
session
Sir, I am Dr. Zohirul Haq
basically
from Walpur.
network problem we are not
Sir, one question, sir.
Okay.
someone
Okay. Okay. Ask.
Hello, sir. Whether the workshop will be accounted in API scores
Zahirul
or not?
Haq Dr. Zahirul Haq
Yes, sir. Sir,
I think
whether the
he is saying something
sir, one question, sir.
I think Dr. Zahirul Haq saying
Yes, sir.
something
Yes, sir. Sir, one question, sir. Whether the sir workshop will be counted by in
anyone
API
want
scores,
to
sir?
ask the question any question
Whether the sir workshop will be counted in API score?
Actually, sometimes there are different procedures. Some universities are counting in the AP score and some are not. There are variations in the regulations and they vary within years, after the year by year. Sometimes they
Okay.
are counting and sometimes they are not. And they are in state wise, they vary.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
anyone ask something regarding this topic, research design and literature review.
Okay, sir. I have shared the PPT and kindly send this to the students. Okay, on your WhatsApp.
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको इशफाक सर?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
So anyone want to say something? If you dare to believe,
सर,
yes.
लिटरेचर रिव्यू और कंटेंट एनालिसिस में क्या फर्क है?
इशाक सर,
Yes, 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 yes. Literature review and content analysis. Okay. When we talk about the literature review, अगर हम बात करेंगे literature review एक कंपोनेंट है रिसर्च का। हम जब रिसर्च करते हैं तो लिटरेचर रिव्यू एक सेपरेट यूनिट होता है, दिस इज अ सेपरेट यूनिट इन रिसर्च। लिटरेचर रिव्यू से हमें हेल्प मिलती है कि प्रीवियस जो रिसर्चर्स है जिन्होंने काम किया है इस टॉपिक पे, उन्होंने क्या किया है, क्या देखा है, उनकी फाइंडिंग्स क्या है, उन्होंने कौन सी मेथडोलॉजी यूज की है, तो उसी के हिसाब से हम फिर अपनी मेथडोलॉजी यूज करते हैं, अपने रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स फ्रेम करते हैं। ठीक। और कंटेंट एनालिसिस की हम अगर हम बात करेंगे, कंटेंट एनालिसिस में क्या होता है, ये एनालिसिस टूल है। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम बात करेंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे कि इंट्री शेड्यूल है, कलेक्शन ऑफ द डेटा, इससे हम डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं। ठीक। एंड अनदर वन इज फॉर एग्जांपल क्वेश्चनियर, वो हम यूज करते हैं डेटा कलेक्शन के हिसाब से। जो कंटेंट एनालिसिस है, कंटेंट एनालिसिस भी एक टूल है जो हम यूज करते हैं डेटा एनालिसिस में, डेटा कलेक्शन। उसमें हम कंटेंट एनालिसिस में क्या करते हैं, न्यूज पेपर्स देखते हैं, जो प्रीवियस फॉर एग्जांपल ओरल हिस्ट्रीज होती है, डिफरेंट रिपोर्ट्स होते हैं, फिर हम थीम्स करते हैं, उसके बेसिस पे हम एनालिसिस करते हैं, कंटेंट एनालिसिस। कोई स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक होगा आपके पास, कोई स्पेसिफिक थीम होगी, कोई स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जेक्टिव आपके पास, फिर उसी के हिसाब से आप चलते हो, उसी से फिर आप थीम्स वाइज कंटेंट निकालते हो, फिर उनकी एनालिसिस करते हो। दैट मीन्स लिटरेचर एक ब्रॉडर एस्पेक्ट है, ब्रॉडर थीम है, उसकी सब थीम है, उसकी सब हेडिंग लिख लीजिए आप, उसी के अंडर आती है। लिटरेचर रिव्यू में सब हेडिंग आती है कंटेंट एनालिसिस।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।